Hi, I'm Kathryn Costa from TrueNorthArts.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is where I share my soulful and creative life. This video is for the new moon in Capricorn. Now, it's part of my Traveling by Moonlight series, where at each new moon and full moon, I pause, I write a blog post, and in that post, I pick one or more themes. These are archetypal universal themes that we can learn from related to the astrology of that moon. So we look at what zodiac sign is in the moon and the sun, and we see what we can learn from that and how we're going to use it. So new this year, I am doing these videos where I bring my other passion, which is tarot. I pull some tarot cards and take a look at what story do they tell. What are the insights, the inspiration, and the wisdom we can draw from and have that help us with navigating this moment. Now, whether you're looking at this before or after the Capricorn new moon or some other time in the year, do know that there is insight and inspiration waiting for you that you can apply to your life at any time. Along with the astrology and the tarot, what makes my YouTube channel a little different is that I love the expressive arts. So we're going to take a look at the featured art project, and they often involve mandalas, but not always. So in future videos, I'm going to open up my journals. We'll look at collage. There are so many different ways that we can make some sacred time for us to reflect on these themes while we're creating something that is energetically infused with our intentions and our good energy. So let's go take a look at that reading. Thank you for being here. All right, so what do we have here on my table? I've got some cards that I pulled from the Light Seer's tarot deck. At the center is my mandala for the Capricorn new moon. Over here, I have some stencils that I used to create this, and I'll talk about how to use those stencils towards the end of the video. So let's get started, and let's see what insights, inspiration, and wisdom we can draw from the tarot about this moment with the Capricorn new moon. Here we have the wheel card, and at the bottom we see several wheels, kind of one after the other, and standing on that in a very confident yogic tree pose is a woman, and around her neck are two dice. So let's kind of unpack some of these symbols and what they can mean for us. So life moves in patterns and in cycles. And we can't control what happens to us, but what we can control is how we respond. Capricorn understands this deeply and doesn't get discouraged when progress is slow. Capricorn learns from repetition. So think of these as every time we've come around and around on something. For me, I study astrology, and I have say this new moon is in Capricorn. 6 months later, we'll have the full moon in Capricorn. Then we come back around in another 6 months for the next Capricorn. So every time we come around to each of these signs, I learn something new and I build on what I've learned. That's a very Capricorn thing, is building on what you know, building on your successes, slow and steady. In fact, this mandala I created in 2011, and I love it so much, and I think it's such a beautiful representation. I'll go more detail about that I thought this time I wanted to focus on the tarot aspect of it and not create another mandala. I didn't need to. I have this one. All right, so let's come back to this card. All right, so each time we come around and around on something, we learn more wisdom, we gain more skill, and we're more ready for reaching whatever that goal is. When we look at these, sometimes we can feel how oh wow, we're lucky. Or we look at somebody else, man, they were lucky. Well, luck isn't random. We make our own luck. Luck comes from preparation, preparation, practice, presence. Lucky people will trust their intuition and their gut. They are open to new experiences. They believe in their dreams. Look at her expression. She's believing. There's no doubt about it. And she believes in her dreams enough to take action. The other thing I want to point out about, Capricorn energy and lucky people is that they're resilient. Even when things don't unfold as expected, they keep going. They don't let those setbacks come back. All right, so Capricorn has a question for you. What are you going to build this year? Capricorn's about being practical, building that foundation, and making small, consistent steps. Capricorn looks for steady improvement over time. This is about building something in the long haul, right? And there's no rush here to climb. Capricorn says move carefully, deliberately, and trust each step along the way. All right, well, let's take a look at the second card here. This is the Magician. All right, so we get the Magician. And what do we see here with the Magician? We've got all this energy here. The Magician knows how to work with all of the elements, and you're going to see here the 4 elements. All right, so the downward triangle, this is water, this is air, this is earth, and this is fire. So water is about our emotions, air is about our thoughts and how we think about things, earth is about the physical things. What are we creating? How are we working with our physical realm? And then the fire is about our passion, our desires, our insights. So the Magician is here to say to you, you know how to work with these elements and work with them in different ways to create something new. And here, this is this energetic exchange. We see this infinity symbol, and we see this kind of reflected in here, this exchange of the Magician and this cosmic looking thing. This looks like potentiality to me, right? And how are you going to work with the energy of the different elements to make things happen? So this is about doing. This whole reading speaks to, we're at the new year. We have dreams, we've set intentions, we have selected a word for the year, and how are we going to go from dream to doing? And the Magician is here to give you a little pep talk and say, you know how to navigate life. You have life experiences. We saw that in the Wheel card, right? You got years of experience. Now is the time for you to realize and own and embody your capacity to realize, manifest your dreams. Dreaming and thinking matter. They inform the direction, but they are not the destination. Action is the bridge. Now, you may need to learn some new skills, or you might want to recommit to practicing the ones that you already have. The 2 of Wands. When it shows up, it's saying, hey, you got a decision to make. Wands are about that desire within us, that fire, that flame, the thing that creative energy within us. And when I say creative, sure, we've got the visual creativity, but we also have the ability to create the life we love. When we look at these 2 wands, the choice here is, look at how this one is leaning up against a wall. This one says, okay, am I going to be doing things as I've always done? Or she's looking out on the horizon. This one is pointing in the direction of that. What am I going to do differently? Right? And this is about being open to new opportunities. This is a threshold moment in your journey. You no longer need to wait for permission or certainty. You already know what you want. You have enough clarity to take the next step. And your future is shaped by the choices you make now. Let me repeat this. Your future is shaped by the choices you make now. All right, let's take a look at the next card here. This is the 6 of Pentacles. Look at those pentacles. Pentacles is the earth sign. It's about what we're creating in this physical realm. Look at how they are mandalas, colorful mandalas. And those of you who've been following me for a while know I am a mandala lady. I can't get away from it. I've tried. So here we see one hand is open, the palm up, it's receptive. Another one is holding pentacle and it is giving. So this is about giving and receiving. This is an energetic path. We see this energetic path in the shape here again. Here's that infinity symbol. So we're seeing this give and take. We're seeing a connection between the two. This is about sacred reciprocity. What we give circulates back to us. Sustainable creation depends on this balance. The teacher needs the student needs the teacher. That's one example. Key here is to learn how to give without depletion, to learn to receive without guilt. Now, for me, this really is a great depiction of me sharing my mandala practice and my love for astrology, tarot. I'm giving that. What I receive from you is connection, affirmation, and I get energized every single time I connect with you, either through your comments, through taking one of my online courses, or when we get to work one-on-one in my Astro Tarot readings. And know that this exchange is mutual. We support each other. So here, this is another way of seeing how, okay, it's coming around. At this time, consider what you are building and how the energy, resources, and inspiration flow between you and others who walk alongside you. Now, we've got this one. We're going to end the tarot portion with the Fool. And she really belongs at the center. I just didn't want to cover that up at this point. So she is at the middle, at the center, at the heart of this reading. And what do we see here with the Fool? The Fool, it's the number 0. She is the first of the major arcana. In fact, reading a tarot and going through the whole arcana is known as the Fool's journey. This means we are at the beginning of a journey. We're at the beginning of a new year. How are we going to navigate it? But the thing is what we learn here is we've been here before. And because of what we've learned in the past, this isn't all new to us. We are feeling prepared. Notice her body language. She's standing over a ledge. She's leaning back. This is a trust fall. Look how open she is. Her eyes are closed. She's trusting her intuition, her knowing, her inner wisdom that this is the time, this is the moment for this change. She's feeling prepared. She's got the amethyst in one hand. This crystal represents her intuition and her connection for divine, connecting with the divine, right? I believe we co-create. We're a part of something bigger than ourselves. And I think of that as the collective unconscious. And so the energy of what we put out there, what we put out, we get back. All right, so here's that energy exchange. And here, when we co-create, we have our intentions, but we also start taking action. And this is an interplay with all the greater energies that are out there. So that's why she's feeling this trust. She's holding a wand, and she has decided that she's going to do something different this year. What are you going to do that's different this year? Look at that in the water below. This is the seed of life. This is a variation of the seed of life. We're going to be exploring this more at the Leo full moon. We're going to look at the Taurus yantra and that in sacred geometry, this pattern and how it's really maps out the same pattern that's found in our heart as well as in the earth, because the center of the earth has energy. It's wicked cool stuff. So that's coming up in the full moon in Leo. So there's going to be continual learning about what's happening with the astrology and how we can connect with it, and using these cards to help us. So here you are. Trust your journey. Trust that you are right where you need to be, that you are prepared for what's next. Let's take a look at this mandala. This mandala uses my 4 Gates mandala stencil from Stencil Girl products. You can buy it from them. And here's a look at that stencil. Now, I designed this to give options. I just totally love options. So we've got 3 paths here. I call this the inner path, the middle path, and the outer path. At the center of this mandala, I have the root chakra. Now, Capricorn is an earth sign, all right? And earth signs align with the root chakra. Mentioned earlier, Capricorn's about building a solid foundation. This is working with that earth element. I went with the root chakra, which helps us to be centered, grounded, and move from that place of confidence within that foundation. But one thing you're going to notice is that this circle here is smaller than the circle of the root chakra stencil. So you can see here, I've got stencils for every chakra. But this one is too big to fit within the inner path. So what you'll need to do when you draw your own and use the chakra stencils with this is you need to, what I say, walk the middle path, right? So we're going to connect here and connect here to trace this. So then that way we have all this space to do that. So let's take a look. Let's put this over here. And you can see I could have done another border for this one. So we've got a dual border. But in this case, I just did the inner path. Okay, so you can see how that overlays onto that. So I didn't draw that inner path or that outer path. We just walked the middle path, which is very Capricorn. It sounds very safe and stable. Let's take a closer look at this. I used a watercolor, nice thick paper. This is a watercolor paint in brown. I sprinkled some salt on it. You allow that salt to really dry good, and then you just brush it off and you get this really cool earthy texture. Look at that. How lovely is that? And then I just applied that same paint a little darker here. I worked with the traditional color of the root chakra. I recommend that if you are creating your art for healing and you want to really get that healing aspect of it, because the color has an energetic frequency that is lower, like the energy of the root chakra. All right. And so that is going to, when we look at this and when we work with it, if we put it on an altar or we hang it up or we have it next to our desk or wherever we've got it, maybe on the kitchen table, it's got the energy that is grounding and supportive. At the gates, I have the glyphs. These are the symbols here of Capricorn. We have Saturn. These are part of my zodiac stencils. You can certainly draw your own. One thing I like about using the stencils is that they are consistently the same and it's quick to use them. I used gold throughout for detail. Capricorn has these big goals and works steadily towards them and has really got the eye on the prize and wants to be successful. So gold is about, in this case, about quality, elevating this and, making it shine. So there you go, my friends. This is my reading, including tarot. We'll put her in the center. Astrology, and working with the mandalas. This is Kathryn Costa from TrueNorthArts.com. If you enjoyed this video, I certainly hope you'll subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what is something that I shared in this video that is giving you an aha moment, where you're feeling some insight, inspiration, where it echoes your own wisdom and it's bringing top of mind. How is this video helping you in this moment in early January? And anytime you are in need of Capricorn energy, you don't have to wait for the new moon or the full moon in Capricorn. You can come back to this video anytime that you need a pep talk about knowing that you are prepared, you have what you need, and may this reading support you in going from your dream to doing. From my heart to yours, I am so grateful for you. Swing by my blog at truenortharts.com for the blog post where this video is, if you like to have more of the written instructions and you can get a closer look at the mandala. Bye, friends.